Welcome back to my channel, Learning English Level 3. Today's video is all about improving your English vocabulary and speaking skills. If you want to sound more confident and fluent in English, this video is perfect for you. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to understand how you can learn English in a fun and effective way using stories. Plus, these simple tips will help you improve your English fluency in daily life. So, if you're ready to start, hit that subscribe button. Your support means a lot to me. Let's get started. Lesson 1. Use stories to build vocabulary. The best way to improve your vocabulary is through stories. Stories are not just entertaining, but they help you remember new words and phrases. When you listen to a story in English, you get to hear words in context, which makes it easier to understand their meaning. This is why stories are so powerful. They bring words to life in real situations, making them much easier to remember. When you listen to English stories regularly, you're exposed to new words in a natural setting. This helps you learn how words are used in real-life conversations, making your vocabulary more practical. If you hear a word you don't know, don't worry. Write it down and look it up later. You can also try to use it in a sentence. Keep practicing, and soon you'll find yourself using those new words in your own speaking and writing. Listening to stories in English will also help you get used to the flow and rhythm of the language. By hearing words used in sentences, you'll start to understand how they fit together naturally. The more stories you hear, the more confident you will become in using new vocabulary in your everyday conversations. Example Story 1: The Lost Key. Once, there was a young boy named Timmy who lost his house key. Timmy looked everywhere, under the table, in his pockets, and even in the garden. He searched high and low but couldn't find it. As the minutes passed, he began to feel frustrated. He wanted to get inside his house, but the key was nowhere to be found. Timmy didn't know what to do. Finally, he decided to ask his neighbor, Mrs. Parker, for help. Mrs. Parker was always friendly and helpful, so Timmy felt comfortable asking her. Mrs. Parker smiled and said, "Don't worry, Timmy. We'll find it together." They searched once more, this time looking around the mailbox. After a while, Timmy spotted something shiny. It was his key, stuck in between the mailbox and the wall. "I found it," he shouted, his face lighting up with happiness. He was so relieved. Timmy quickly picked up the key and thanked Mrs. Parker. He had learned an important lesson that day. Even when things seem hard, it's always a good idea to ask for help. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: frustrated, neighbor, together, stuck, lesson. Example Story 2. The Surprise Party. Maria had always loved birthdays, especially surprises. This year, her friends decided to throw her a surprise birthday party. They planned everything secretly so Maria wouldn't find out. They decorated the house with balloons and streamers, and they baked a big cake. On the day of the party, Maria was just going about her day, unaware of the surprise waiting for her. When she walked into the living room, she was completely shocked to see all her friends gathered there, smiling and shouting, "Happy birthday, Maria!" Her eyes widened, and a huge smile spread across her face. Maria felt so grateful for her friends, who had put in so much effort to make her day special. The cake was delicious, and they spent the afternoon playing games, laughing, and making memories. Maria realized that this thoughtful surprise was not just about the cake and decorations. It was the love and friendship that made it truly meaningful. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: surprise, secretly, grateful, thoughtful. Example story 3. The little bird. One quiet morning, a little bird woke up with excitement. It was a bright, sunny day, and the bird was eager to explore the world outside its cozy nest. The bird flew into the sky, soaring high above the trees. It saw beautiful flowers blooming in the fields below and heard the sounds of other birds singing in the distance. Everything seemed so new and exciting. But after a while, the little bird started to feel tired. The world seemed bigger and scarier than it had imagined. It flew further, but it began to feel lost and far away from home. The bird felt a little scared and missed the safety of its nest. The wind was stronger than it expected, and the trees seemed unfamiliar. After thinking for a moment, the little bird decided to fly back home. The journey back felt shorter, and soon it landed safely in its nest, where it felt comfortable and safe. The little bird realized that sometimes it's okay to explore the world, but it's also nice to return to a place where you feel at ease. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: explore, beautiful, sounds, miss, comfortable. Lesson 2. Speak every day. The key to improving your speaking skills is practice. Don't wait for the perfect moment or feel like you need to speak perfectly. The most important thing is to speak every day. Start with simple sentences about your day, your plans, or your favorite things. The more you speak, the more natural it will become. It's important to remember that you don't need to speak perfectly. Mistakes are a part of learning. The more you speak, the more comfortable you will get, and the easier it will become. Practice speaking with friends, family, or even with yourself. You can also find language partners online who are willing to practice with you. Keep talking even if it feels awkward at first. Remember, speaking regularly is the best way to improve. So, start talking today, whether it's with a friend or even just practicing in front of a mirror. The more you speak, the better you'll get. Example story 1. The big decision. Sarah was standing at a crossroads in her life. She had always lived in the same small town, but now she had the chance to move to a new city for a fresh start. However, she was feeling unsure. Moving to a new city was a big decision, and she didn't know if she should take the risk. One afternoon, Sarah talked to her best friend, Emma, about her dilemma. "I really want to go," Sarah said, "but I'm scared. What if I don't like it there? What if I don't make new friends?" Emma smiled and encouraged her. "Sarah, you'll never know until you try. Sometimes taking a chance is the best decision you can make. If you don't try, you'll always wonder what could have been." After talking it through, Sarah felt better. She thought about it for a while and decided to take the leap. She packed her bags and moved to the new city. A few months later, she felt so happy and excited about her new adventure. She made new friends, found a great job, and realized that taking risks can lead to wonderful opportunities. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: decision, unsure, scared, chance, adventure. Example story 2. The new job. John had been job hunting for months. He was looking for something better, something that would make him feel more excited to go to work each day. After many applications and interviews, he finally got a call for an interview at a company he admired. However, John was feeling very nervous. It was his first time interviewing in English, and he wasn't sure if his speaking skills were good enough. He remembered the advice his teacher had given him during their English lessons. Just relax and speak clearly. The more you practice, the more confident you will feel. During the interview, John focused on staying calm. He tried his best to speak confidently, even when he felt nervous. After a few days, he got the good news. He had been hired. He was so proud of himself for overcoming his fear. That experience taught him a valuable lesson. Confidence comes with practice. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Interview, nervous, relax, confidently, overcoming. Example story 3. The first day at school. Lily had just moved to a new country, and she was excited but also a little scared. It was her first day at school, and she didn't speak English very well. She was worried that she wouldn't be able to understand the teacher or make new friends. But Lily was determined to try. She walked into the classroom with a smile and said, "Hello, my name is Lily. I'm new here." Her teacher welcomed her with a warm smile. "Welcome, Lily. Don't worry, we're here to help you," said the teacher. Lily felt relieved. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she also knew that with time she would get better at speaking English. By the end of the day, Lily had made a few new friends. Her classmates were kind and patient, and they helped her feel more confident. Lily learned that it's okay to feel nervous, but what matters is trying and not giving up. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Nervous, determined, confident, welcome, friends. Lesson 3. Listen and repeat. Another great way to improve your vocabulary and speaking skills is by listening and repeating. This method helps you practice not only your vocabulary but also your pronunciation and rhythm in English. When you listen to stories or conversations in English, try to repeat the sentences you hear. By doing so, you'll train your mouth to say the words more naturally, and you'll become more comfortable with the flow of the language. Try listening to short stories or videos in English. After listening, repeat the sentences out loud. You can also pause the video and try to say the sentences in your own words. This will help you improve your speaking skills and make your English sound more natural. It's like practicing with a partner, but instead of having someone else, you're using the audio to guide you. Repetition is the key to improvement. The more you repeat, the better your pronunciation will get, and the more natural your speech will sound. Example story 1. The Magical Garden. One afternoon, Emma discovered a secret garden behind her house. It was a beautiful place filled with colorful flowers and tall trees. She loved spending time there, feeling the calmness of the nature around her. Emma often went to the garden to relax and enjoy the quiet. One day, while walking through the garden, she noticed something shiny under a large stone. She bent down and found a small golden key. It was hidden in the dirt, barely visible. Emma picked it up and wondered, "What does this key open?" She looked around, but there was no lock in sight. This made her even more curious, and she decided to keep the key, hoping to find the lock it belonged to one day. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Secret, colorful, hidden, wondered, open. Example story 2. The Brave Lion. In a vast forest, there lived a brave lion. He was not just strong but also kind and caring. One day, while walking through the forest, he heard a soft sound. It was a small rabbit caught in a trap. The lion quickly rushed over, using his strong paws to break the trap open. The rabbit looked up at the lion with big eyes and said, "Thank you, Mr. Lion." The lion smiled warmly and said, "No problem. Helping others is always the right thing to do." After that, the lion walked away, feeling proud of himself for being able to help. The rabbit was so grateful. He realized that sometimes the bravest people are the ones who help others, not just fight battles. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: brave, strong, kind, caught, escape. Example story 3. The beautiful beach. Tom had been dreaming of visiting the beach, and finally, he went on a vacation to a beautiful beach by the ocean. The sun was shining brightly, and the waves were calm, perfect for swimming. Tom spent the whole day there, enjoying the warm sand beneath his feet. He swam in the ocean, built sandcastles, and ate delicious ice cream. As the day came to a close, Tom sat on the sand and watched the sunset. The sky turned a mix of orange, pink, and purple. Tom smiled to himself and thought, "This is the best day ever." It was a perfect vacation, and he felt relaxed and happy, ready to go back home with wonderful memories. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: vacation, calm, swimming, sandcastles, sunset. Lesson 4. Read books aloud. Reading is one of the most effective ways to improve your vocabulary, but here's a secret. Read aloud. When you read aloud, you're practicing both your reading and speaking skills at the same time. This helps you build your confidence and get comfortable with the language. Start with easy books at first. Don't worry if you make mistakes. That's part of learning. The key is consistency. Try to read at least a few pages every day. As you read, pay attention to new words and how they are used in the sentences. Try to say them out loud with the correct pronunciation. Soon your vocabulary will expand, and your speaking skills will improve. Reading aloud helps you get used to the sounds and rhythm of English, making it easier to speak fluently. Example story 1. The friendly dog. One sunny afternoon, a dog named Max was walking in the park with his owner. Max was a friendly dog who loved meeting new people. Whenever someone walked by, Max would happily wag his tail and greet them with a big, friendly bark. "Hello, Max," called a little girl as she passed by. Max wagged his tail even harder, and he ran over to say hello. The little girl laughed and petted Max. She enjoyed meeting such a friendly dog. Max felt happy knowing he made someone's day brighter with his greeting. Max's owner smiled as he watched Max make new friends. It was clear that Max loved being around people and making them smile. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: sunny, friendly, wagged, greet, bark. Example story 2. The old tree. In the middle of a vast forest, there stood an old tree. This tree was very tall and had many thick branches. Over the years, birds had built their nests in its branches, and animals often rested in the shade of its leaves. The tree had witnessed many seasons pass by. It had seen the forest change and grow, but it remained strong and proud. Birds often sat on its branches, singing their songs, while animals took shelter beneath its large leaves. The tree had become home to so many creatures over the years, and it was proud to be a safe place for them. One day, a young boy named Jack visited the forest. He stood by the tree, admiring its size. "You're so old but so strong," he said. "You must have seen a lot in your time." Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: middle, tall, branches, nests, shade. Example story 3. The secret treasure. Luke and his sister Mia were exploring the attic of their old house one rainy afternoon. They had been looking for toys to play with when they came across an old, dusty box. Inside the box there was an old map. The map had strange markings on it, and it looked like it led to something hidden. "Let's follow the map," Mia said excitedly. Luke nodded. Together they followed the map carefully through the house, past the old bookshelf, and into the backyard. The map showed a large rock near the edge of the yard, and when they moved the rock, they found a hidden treasure chest. Luke and Mia opened the chest, and to their surprise, it was filled with shiny gold coins. They were amazed by their discovery and couldn't believe they had found such a treasure right in their own backyard. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Attic, markings, hidden, carefully, discovery. Lesson 5. Use new words in conversations. One of the best ways to improve your vocabulary and speaking skills is by using new words in conversations. Each time you learn a new word, try to use it in a sentence. This could be in conversation with a friend, family member, or even by writing it down. The more you practice using new words, the more natural they will feel in your speech. As you continue practicing, you'll notice that speaking English will become easier, more fluid, and even more fun. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's part of the learning process. The important thing is to keep using those new words in real situations. By making a habit of incorporating new vocabulary into your daily conversations, you'll soon feel more confident and comfortable when speaking English. Example story 1. The helpful neighbor. Sarah's neighbor, Mr. Green, was always ready to help others. One sunny afternoon, Sarah needed help fixing her bicycle. The bike had a flat tire, and Sarah didn't know how to fix it herself. She walked over to Mr. Green's house and asked, "Mr. Green, can you please help me with my bicycle?" Mr. Green smiled and said, "Of course I can help." He carefully fixed the bike, showing Sarah step by step how to do it. While fixing the tire, he also taught her how to take care of her bicycle so it would last longer. Sarah was very thankful for his help and said, "Thank you, Mr. Green. You saved me today." Mr. Green smiled and replied, "You're welcome. Next time, I'll need your help with my garden." Sarah promised to help him next time, feeling happy that she could now take better care of her own bicycle. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Kind, carefully, take care, thankful, promised. Example story 2. The birthday cake. Ben was excited because it was his birthday. It was his special day, and he couldn't wait to celebrate with his family. That morning his mother asked, "What kind of cake would you like?" Ben smiled and replied, "I would love a chocolate cake with strawberries on top." The cake arrived, and it was exactly how Ben imagined, delicious and covered in fresh strawberries. After blowing out the candles, Ben shared the cake with his family. They all enjoyed it together. Ben was so happy that everyone loved the cake. He felt proud of his choice. That evening Ben's family sang, "Happy Birthday," and Ben smiled from ear to ear. He was very grateful that everyone was there to celebrate with him. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Excited, kind, delicious, shared, enjoy. Example story 3. The friendly shopkeeper. One day Lisa went to the local market to buy some apples. She was looking for the freshest ones to make a pie. The shopkeeper, who was always friendly, greeted her with a warm smile. "Good morning, Lisa. Would you like some fresh apples today?" he asked. Lisa smiled back and said, "Yes, please. I'll take the red ones." The shopkeeper carefully selected the best apples for her and placed them in a bag. "Here you go, enjoy making your pie," he said. Lisa thanked him and left the shop, feeling happy to support such a friendly business. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Market, fresh, replied, smiled, take. Lesson 6. Use flashcards to reinforce vocabulary. Flashcards are a fantastic tool for memorizing new vocabulary. You can write down new words on one side of the card and their meanings, examples, or images on the other side. This active learning technique helps you reinforce what you've learned and test your knowledge regularly. You can make your own flashcards with new words from stories, lessons, or conversations. Once you have your set of flashcards, take some time every day to go through them. The more often you review the cards, the better you will remember the words. Another way to use flashcards is to add sentences or short stories to the back of the card. This way you can learn how the words are used in context, helping you remember not only the meaning but also the correct usage. Example Story 1. The Curious Cat. Lucy had a cat named Max. Max was a very curious cat who loved exploring. One morning, Max noticed a butterfly flying by the window. He jumped up on the windowsill, trying to get a closer look. The butterfly fluttered outside, and Max followed it, even though the window was closed. Max meowed at the closed window, trying to figure out how to catch the butterfly. Lucy smiled and said, "Don't worry, Max. Sometimes you just have to wait patiently." Max looked up at Lucy, who opened the window. The butterfly flew inside, and Max quickly caught it, but then let it go, watching it fly away. Max learned that being patient was important, even for a curious cat like him. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Curious, patient, followed, meowed, fluttered. Example Story 2. The Lost Puppy. One rainy evening, Emma was walking home from school when she heard a small sound. It was a puppy, stuck in a bush near the sidewalk. The puppy was shivering and looked scared. Emma rushed over to help. "Don't be afraid," Emma said softly, as she gently picked up the puppy. She wrapped the little puppy in her jacket to keep it warm and took it home. Emma's family was so happy to see the puppy. They gave it food and made a cozy bed for it. Emma decided to name the puppy Rusty because of his bright red fur. She learned that being kind to animals was one of the best things she could do. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Puppy, shivering, scared, warm, cozy. Example Story 3. The Mountain Adventure. Max and Lily went on a hiking trip to the mountains. The weather was clear, and the sun shone brightly. They climbed higher and higher, feeling the fresh mountain air on their faces. Along the way, they saw some beautiful wildflowers and a sparkling stream. Max took out a map and said, "Look, we're almost at the top. I can't wait to see the view from the top of the mountain." After a few hours of hiking, they finally reached the summit. The view was breathtaking. They could see the entire valley below, and everything looked tiny from so high up. Max and Lily sat down and enjoyed the view, feeling proud of their accomplishment. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Weather, wildflowers, sparkling, breathtaking, accomplishment. Lesson 7. Watch English movies with subtitles. Another fun way to improve your vocabulary and speaking skills is by watching movies or shows in English. You can start by watching with English subtitles to help you understand the words you hear. This is an excellent way to learn how words are pronounced, how they sound in context, and how native speakers use them in real situations. Watching movies also helps you understand the rhythm and tone of spoken English. It's important to pick movies that you enjoy so you stay engaged. You can also pause the movie and repeat sentences to practice speaking. Example Story 1. The Helpful Baker. Lily loved going to the bakery every weekend. The baker, Mr. Johnson, was always so helpful. One day, Lily walked in and said, "I'm making a cake for my mom's birthday. Could you help me find the best ingredients?" Mr. Johnson smiled and said, "Of course. You need the freshest eggs and butter for the best cake. I'll give you a special discount today." Lily thanked him and bought the ingredients. She went home, baked the cake, and it turned out perfect. She felt so proud of herself and grateful for Mr. Johnson's helpful advice. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Helpful, ingredients, discount, baked, grateful. Example Story 2, The Magic Show. Tom went to a magic show with his family. The magician, Mr. Sparkles, performed amazing tricks. He pulled a rabbit out of a hat, made flowers appear from thin air, and even made a coin disappear. Tom was amazed. After the show, Tom went backstage and asked Mr. Sparkles, "How did you do those tricks?" Mr. Sparkles smiled and said, "It's all about practice, Tom. Magic is not just about illusion. It's about making people smile and wonder." Tom learned that magic wasn't just about tricks. It was about creating wonder and happiness for others. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Magic, illusion, disappear, wonder, practice. Example Story 3. The Lost Toy. One day, little Emma lost her favorite toy. She searched everywhere. Under the bed, in the living room, and even in the yard, but she couldn't find it. She felt very sad. Her big brother Ben saw that Emma was upset. "Don't worry," he said. "Let's look one more time, and we'll find it together." After looking in the toy chest, they found the toy hidden behind a pile of books. Emma was so relieved and hugged Ben tightly. She promised to always keep her toy in a safe place from now on. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson. Lost, relieved, together, hugged, promise. Lesson 8. Practice with tongue twisters. Tongue twisters are a fun and effective way to improve your pronunciation and fluency in English. These are phrases or sentences that are difficult to say quickly because of similar sounds or words. By practicing tongue twisters regularly, you'll strengthen your mouth muscles and get more comfortable with challenging sounds in English. Start slowly at first, focusing on the correct pronunciation of each word. Once you feel confident, try saying the tongue twister faster. This will help you improve both your speaking speed and clarity. You can create your own tongue twisters by combining similar sounding words or use ones that already exist. Practicing tongue twisters will also help you sound more natural and confident when speaking English. Example Story 1. The Singing Squirrel. One day, a little squirrel named Sammy was walking through the forest. Sammy loved singing, but his singing was very loud and a little scratchy. Every time he sang, the birds would stop and listen. "Why do you sing so loudly, Sammy?" asked a curious rabbit. Sammy smiled and said, "I sing to make the forest cheerful." The birds and rabbits thought Sammy's singing was funny, but they agreed that it made the forest feel happy. From that day on, Sammy sang louder than ever, and everyone in the forest felt more cheerful whenever they heard his songs. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: scratchy, cheerful, loud, curious, funny. Example story 2. The Busy Baker. Mr. Baker was very busy making bread. He had to knead the dough, mix the flour and add the yeast, all while keeping the shop clean and the customers happy. One day, while he was preparing a loaf of bread, a customer asked, "Mr. Baker, how do you make your bread so fresh and delicious?" Mr. Baker smiled and replied, "I take my time with each batch. I use the freshest ingredients and add just the right amount of love." The customer smiled and thanked Mr. Baker for the delicious bread. As they left the shop, Mr. Baker went back to his baking, feeling proud of his work. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: clean, delicious, fresh, batch, love. Example story 3. The Quick Quack. On a small farm, there was a very quick duck named Daisy. Daisy was always running around the pond, quacking loudly as she went. Her friends, the chickens and cows, were amazed at how fast she could run. "Daisy, you're the quickest duck on the farm," said one of the chickens. Daisy smiled and said, "I like to run quickly and quack as I go. It keeps me happy." From then on, every time Daisy ran, the animals would cheer her on. They learned that sometimes a little quickness and a lot of joy can make a big difference. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: quick, quacking, happy, cheer, joy. Lesson 9. Engage with English songs. Listening to songs in English is a fun and enjoyable way to improve your vocabulary and speaking skills. Songs expose you to new words, phrases, and expressions in context, and the music helps you remember them more easily. Singing along with a song is a great way to practice pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency. Start with songs that have clear lyrics and are easy to understand. Once you feel comfortable, you can challenge yourself with faster songs or those with more complex vocabulary. Pay attention to how words are pronounced and try to repeat the lyrics. Singing out loud will help you build confidence and speak more fluently. Example story 1. The Dancing Fox. One bright and sunny day, a fox named Felix heard music coming from the nearby forest. The beat was so lively and catchy that Felix couldn't resist. He started to dance to the rhythm of the song, wagging his tail and tapping his feet. The other animals in the forest gathered around, laughing and clapping for Felix's dance moves. "You're the best dancer in the forest, Felix," said a rabbit. Felix smiled and said, "I love dancing to the rhythm of the music. It makes me feel joyful." From that day on, Felix danced every time he heard a song, and soon all the animals in the forest joined in. They learned that music could bring everyone together, no matter their species. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: fox, catchy, dance, joyful, rhythm. Example story 2. The Singing Whale. In the deep blue ocean, there lived a whale named Wanda. Wanda loved to sing songs as she swam through the water. Her voice echoed through the waves, creating a beautiful melody. One day, a school of fish swam past and heard Wanda singing. "Wow, Wanda! Your voice is amazing," said one of the fish. Wanda smiled and replied, "Singing helps me express my feelings. It makes me feel free." From that day on, Wanda's singing became famous among the creatures of the ocean. They learned that music and singing can help you express emotions and connect with others, no matter where you are. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: whale, singing, express, amazing, connect. Example story 3. The piano at midnight. Late one night, Emma heard the sound of a piano coming from the house next door. She loved music, so she tiptoed to the window to listen. The music was soft and beautiful, and Emma could hear the melancholy tune of the piano. Curious, she knocked on the door. An elderly woman named Mrs. Harris opened the door and smiled. "Would you like to hear more?" she asked. Emma nodded and sat down. As the music played, Mrs. Harris explained, "Music can tell stories that words can't. It helps us feel things we might not understand." Emma listened carefully, and from that night on, she visited Mrs. Harris every week to listen to the piano. She learned that music was a powerful way to communicate emotions and ideas. Vocabulary you learnt in this lesson: piano, melancholy, curious, powerful, communicate. Conclusion. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope these lessons and stories have helped you understand how to improve your English vocabulary and speaking skills. Remember, practice makes perfect. Use stories, speak every day, listen and repeat, read aloud, and don't forget to use your new words in conversations. Keep learning and you'll see great improvements in your English fluency. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you in the next video.